Hello, and welcome to my lecture on avoiding vague language. Let's get started. Okay, you want to avoid vague writing. So how do you avoid vague writing? One, you want to avoid general nouns and pronouns. Make your writing as specific, exact, and vivid as possible. For example, a car went around the corner. This is what we mean by general language. General nouns, general verbs. It's just an all-around general sentence, and it doesn't give very much detail, does it? But we can make this sentence more specific by adding a few descriptors. A battered blue Mustang careened around the corner. So you see the difference from very general, a car went around the corner, to a lot more specific, a battered blue Mustang careened around the corner. In the second example, you get a mental image of what must have been happening, what the car looked like. How was the car going around the corner? Careening means you're swerving, you're going pretty fast, so it suggests that something was really happening. Were they being chased, or what was the deal? So this is what we mean by more specific language. Okay, another example. Janet quickly ate the main course. Janet devoured a plate of shrimp risotto before her date returned. It's gotta be some pretty fast eating, right? Okay, so you see in the first sentence is very general, no detail, but in the second sentence we added more adjectives, more descriptors to create an image in the mind of the reader, didn't we? So whenever possible, you want to get as specific as possible. I want you to notice something in these examples. We have still kept our writing concise, meaning the sentences are less than 16 words. Remember, 16 to 18 words is getting too long. You don't want to overload your sentences with a whole lot of detail, because doing that, being overly specific, can overwhelm your reader and make your sentences confusing. So you want lively language, but you still want to remain concise. Okay, more tips on how to avoid vague writing. Build your vocabulary. I always tell students you can't get anything out if you don't put anything in. So if you don't put words in to your mind, you will not get words out when you are trying to write something. So you must read more often, you must look in a dictionary, a thesaurus, and build your vocabulary. Playing vocabulary games and word games are also really good ways to build your vocabulary, and doing so is really fun. I do it all the time. Cross out vague or dull words and replace them with more specific terms. This is during the revision process. When you are revising your writing, go back through it and look for places where you can get more specific. Again, do not overuse specific descriptions. As we said before, we want you to be specific, but we don't want you to get so flowery or so overfic in describing every little detail that your sentences get too long or confusing. Here's an example of a general sentence. She felt good in her new clothes. What do you mean she felt good? Can you get a little bit more specific? Yes, we can. Mary felt confident and attractive in her new power suit. So the revision of this general sentence is more specific. Mary felt confident and attractive in her new power suit. I added a name. Instead of just using a general pronoun, go ahead and specify a name if possible. Instead of feeling good, we put confident and attractive. Instead of just new clothes, new power suit. So although I didn't go into extra detail about the color of the power suit or the fact that her hair was tossing in the wind, her brunette with blonde highlighted hair tossed in the wind, and she felt attractive and walked. is my point. But we are still able to be more concise, to give specifics and more detail without overusing this technique. Okay, very good. In no particular hurry, Paul and Jane blank through the botanical gardens. Now you try to come up with a word other than walked that will vividly describe how they were walking through the botanical gardens. So you're trying to come up with a more vivid word for walked. Okay, how about this? In no particular hurry, Paul and Jane strolled through the botanical gardens. Walked is general, but when you say strolled, I sort of get an image of Paul and Jane walking hand in hand at a very leisurely pace, just walking around and enjoying the gardens. So you can see the difference between walked and strolled, and how much more lively the word strolled is than just the general walked. Okay, let's try another example. Jane is at her desk and watches the clock. Can we get more vivid and more specific than just saying Jane is at her desk and watches the clock? Well, let's see. Jane fidgets at her desk and anxiously watches the clock. That's a lot more detail, isn't it? You get a better mental image of what Jane must be doing and how she must be feeling. Also, we still remain concise, meaning we recognize the economy of words. When you choose very good specific language, you don't have to use a lot of words. Sometimes writers use a whole lot of words because they don't have the vocabulary to just get to the point. That's what we mean by concise. When you build your vocabulary and choose very vivid, specific words, you can get your point across without having to overdo or become too wordy. Okay, diction means choosing the right word. This is what we mean by that. If you go to a thesaurus, either online or a printed thesaurus, and look up a word, you will find several different words for binge. Whatever word you're looking for, you will find a whole lot of words. Not every word will fit the context that you are trying to get across in your writing. So the words you choose have to correctly fit the context or the meaning that you are trying to get across in your sentence. Not every word is going to work in your particular sentence. Therefore, it is your job to choose the right word that will accurately get across the meaning you are trying to convey. So let's look at this sentence. The ancient city of Machu Picchu, would you say perches, hangs, wobbles, high atop the rugged Andes mountains of Peru? Now look at all of those words in parentheses. Perches, hangs, wobbles. Now, given the context of this sentence, given what you think this sentence is trying to say, which word is more effective? Hopefully you said perches. Choosing the right word to get across the right meaning, and also perches is very vivid language, more so than hangs or wobbles. The city served not only as a hideout, getaway, retreat for the nobility, but also as an observatory. So again, which is the best word out of these three to complete the meaning of this sentence? Hopefully you said, and what is very casual and it sounds like a vacation. Hideout suggests criminal activity, but retreat is something wealthy people do, right? Go on retreats to glamorous locations or whatever. So you do want the word retreat and what it suggests in this particular sentence. Okay, here are some reminders for you. Use specific words and phrases whenever possible. Increase your vocabulary. Do not overuse descriptive language. Keep writing as concise and vivid as possible. And choose the right words to fit the meaning you're trying to get across in your writing. Okay, hopefully you have learned a lot in this presentation. Head on over to our website at www.easyedits.net for more online writing courses, or if you need someone to just fix your writing, our editors will be glad to help you. Thanks so much, and happy